So we all have a metabolism, which is basically just all the chemical reactions that are happening in your body. The thing is those chemical reactions take a lot of energy. So we have something called enzymes, which are special proteins. We already talked about proteins. These guys are special proteins that help control chemical reactions by lowering the amount of energy that they need. They act as catalysts. So there's a certain amount of energy that needs to take place to get these reactions going. And it just so happens that all the chemical reactions in our body take a tremendous amount of energy.
So how do enzymes work?
Well, an enzyme fits in a certain substrate, kind of like a lock or a key fitting into a lock. So you have a certain shape, you have another shape, they fit together.
So if I have the wrong key or enzyme, will it still work?
That's a really great question. Just like if you have the wrong key for somebody's house, you can't get into their house. If you don't have the right enzyme, then you don't have the fit. So certain enzymes only work with certain substances or substrates.
So the enzyme and the reactant or reactants come together?
Right. That's called an enzyme substrate complex. So you have the enzyme and the substrate. When they come together for a little while, they're kind of one substance.
Can anything affect how well the enzyme functions or work?
Yes, actually several things can affect that. First of all, it's just the amount of the substrate or the amount of enzymes that you have. So take, for example, I have to put a bunch of papers together for a class. And I've got a lot of students, so I have to put a lot of papers together. Well, it could take me 10 minutes or more to do that. But if I give some of them to you, and we both work on it together, then it'll probably take about half the time because we have twice the number of people working on it. So in this case, we're the enzymes and the packets of papers are like the substrates.
Can other things affect enzymes?
Yes, lots of things can, which is why it's really important for your body to maintain certain conditions. So differences in pH or temperature or even the saltiness of an organism or its salinity can affect how well enzymes work. There's also things called inhibitors. So imagine for a minute that our reactants in this case, or our substrate, are these two beads. And my hands are the enzymes. Well, I can put these guys together. But say something gets in my way. This fits in my hand just as well as this red one does. If that's the case, then this red one doesn't have any place to fit anymore. It inhibits it. It stops it from working. And inhibitors can affect enzymes too.
Enzymes are very specific and only work with certain substrates. The substrate moves toward the active site of the enzyme. Together they form the enzyme-substrate complex. The product is released and the enzyme is ready for more substrate. The inhibitor approaches the enzyme and binds to it. The substrate, which matches the enzyme, comes in and notices the inhibitor is in its way. The substrate then cannot bind to the active site of the enzyme, and the enzyme is not able to work for that chemical reaction.